Welcome to another Messianic Moments. Today I want to talk about the sanitizing of Scripture. Over the past 1700 years, the body has done everything possible to remove and disassociate itself from its Jewish roots. Even the translation of and commentaries on Scripture hasn't escaped this process. Proper hermeneutics play a critical role in the development of a sound theology. If one brings a preconceived bias, such as an anti-Jewish bias, into the hermeneutic, as many of the early church fathers did, then the theology which results therefrom has to be flawed. Unfortunately, in many instances, reading a Protestant Bible is like reading a sanitized CIA document. The historical and cultural meaning is often intentionally omitted. Even the footnotes or commentaries in study Bibles do not, for the most part, give one the true sense of what was happening. And in my view, this is partially due to an anti-Jewish bias on the part of interpreters and commentators. And this blind spot caused them to de-Judify Scripture, and in so doing rob us all of our Jewish roots. Most of the Jewishness of these writings by Jewish authors has been intentionally relieved of its Jewish identity. Miriam, Moses' sister in the Tanakh, becomes Mary, the mother of Yeshua, in the New Testament. And Yeshua becomes Jesus, to name just two examples. In Mark 5:27, we read that the woman with the issue of blood touched Jesus' cloak and was healed. So what's the big deal, one might ask? Didn't Jesus heal many people? But when one looks at the passage more closely, one finds that a woman who had a hemorrhage for 12 years and had endured much at the hands of many physicians and had spent all that she had and was not helped at all, but had actually grown worse. After hearing about Yeshua, she came up in the crowd behind him and touched his garment. For she thought, if I just touch his garment, I will get well. Immediately the flow of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed. And Yeshua perceived in himself that the power had gone out from him, and he turned around the crowd and said, "Who touched me?" And his disciples said to him, "You see the crowd pressing in on you, and you say, 'Who touched me?'" And he looked around and he saw the woman who had done this. But the woman, fearing and trembling, aware of what happened to her, came and fell down before him and told him the whole truth. And he said to her, "Daughter," which is a term of endearment, "your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction." She wanted to be healed, and by faith she knew that by touching even his garment, his robe, his tzitzit, she knew that he was a healer. And this was made obvious in verse 27, that we're told that after hearing about Yeshua, referring to his ability to heal, she touched his tzitzit. These were the fringes on his garment. And to fully understand this passage, one needs to understand the Mosaic law in general and Numbers 15:38 to 41 and Leviticus 15:25 to 30 in particular. It says, "Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make fringes, seat, in the borders of their garment throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the border a riband of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, for its tzitzit, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord and do them, that you seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you used to go a-whoring, that you may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto me, your God. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God. You see, most translations say that she touched his robe or the hem of his garment. Nonsense. There's only one place where there's healing. That's in the wings. And each of these seat on the four corners of the garment were called nafs, or wings. Wow. One of the commandments that they were to remember and do was not to touch a woman with a discharge of blood because she was unclean. Anyone who came into contact with her, or even the things that she touched, became unclean. Listen to Leviticus 15:25 forward. Now, if a woman has a discharge of her blood many days, not at the period of her menstrual impurity, or if she has a discharge beyond that period, all the days of her impure discharge, she shall continue as though in her menstrual impurity she is unclean. Any bed on which she lies, all the days of her discharge, shall be to her like her bed at menstruation, and everything on which she sits shall be unclean. Likewise, whoever touches them shall be unclean. When she becomes clean from her discharge, she shall count off for herself 7 days, and afterward she shall be clean. To further complicate matters, it was the custom of the times for women to be seen and not heard. It was unacceptable for a woman to approach a man, let alone touch his clothing. And in the verse in question, we've a triple whammy. One, not only did she touch him, but two, she was unclean when she did so. She knew the risk she was taking, but she pressed on anyway. That's why she was fearful and trembling. This unclean woman touched the Holy One and according to Torah defiled him. And Yeshua's answer says it all. Daughter, a term of endearment, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed. And she was. The message that her faith was stronger than the law is somewhat obscured because of the way the passage is translated and interpreted. There are so many places in Scripture where the true meaning is obliterated, leading to false conclusions, false beliefs. That's why I prefer the Complete Jewish Bible or the Tree of Life Bible as my go-to source. This has been another Messianic moment. God bless you all. Until next time, shalom, shalom.
To the house of the risen sun. House of the risen